Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons video. Today we're taking a look at another Super Mario crossover item and seeing how it can be used to build things like tunnels, caves and shrines. It's super cool, so without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So once again, thanks to the latest 1.8 update that introduced a whole bunch of Super Mario crossover items, we now have a brand new item such as the floating blocks and question mark blocks. These floating blocks are quite unique in that they allow us to place them down but still pass underneath them. It can be considered a new feature, I guess, but they're not too dissimilar to archways. Anyway, with using the floating block for example, it's now possible to create all new kinds of structures around the New Horizons island, including things like tunnels, caves and shrines, or basically anything you need a roof for. With this in mind, I thought it would be fun to show a couple of examples of how these can be used. So before we get into things, please leave a like on the video, it helps out so much, and let's get to it. Number 1. Tunnel. So the easiest demonstration of these awesome new items is to build a tunnel. The first thing you're going to want to do is of course decide where you want a tunnel. I'm going to use the path that leads down to my secret beach because it seems perfect for this kind of thing, but really it can be any size and anywhere you want. Of course, if you don't have an existing area you can build your tunnel around, you can easily terraform one, but we'll cover this more in the cave example later. Once you have the location, the best thing to do is place a bunch of single blocks down around the upper cliff edges of the tunnel. For this example, I'm dropping 4 either side. It's not mandatory but does help to create the illusion of a tunnel as it covers any gaps left by the floating blocks. Once the blocks have been positioned, you can already see where this is going. The final thing to do is of course place a bunch of floating blocks within the tunnel itself, which will basically create the tunnel. This can be a bit tricky. It took me quite a while to get used to placing these because of the angle of the camera, but eventually you'll be able to place these floating blocks in line with the normal ones. Once all of the floating blocks have been positioned, you'll see the advantage of using the normal blocks on the upper cliffs because the floating blocks are slightly higher than the cliff edges. And that's pretty much all there is to it. 8 floating blocks and 8 normal blocks later, we have a tunnel. It's pretty cool. Number 2. Cave. The next example of how these floating blocks can be used is a more enclosed space such as caves or shrines. You can think of it as an outside room. Anyway, to create a cave, you're going to want to terraform a large cliff to begin with and then basically dig out an area within the cliff that will essentially be the interior of your cave. Again, you can do what I do and create a small area or get super creative and create different rooms and things like that. Once you're happy with the layout, you need to place a path using the Island Designer app. If you want a floor design, you need to do this first because once the floating blocks are positioned above, you can't add it without removing them first. Now, just like creating a tunnel, it's always best to place any blocks on the cliff above first because it's so much easier to see what's going on before the floating blocks are placed. Given this is basically an enclosed space, you can use 11 blocks to create 2 sides and a back. And as you can see, it's already taking shape. Now, to save a bit of time and again before the floating blocks are positioned, it's a good idea to decorate the surrounding area. So while still on the cliff above, you can plant some adult trees right next to the blocks. It's as easy as digging some holes and planting them, and again this helps to create an immersive cave-like enclosure, which is really cool. Once you're happy with everything else, it's just a matter of placing the floating blocks inside the cave and above the path to create the roof. This example shows 9 floating blocks over 3x3 tiles, which is slightly larger than the tunnel from earlier. Again, there's no limit on this, you could cover your entire island if you wanted to. And that's pretty much it. You can then drop a lamp or something to make it a little more cozy. Of course, caves like this tend to look even better at night and is almost certainly a perfect place for wisp to spawn. Anyway, that's all there is to it. You can continue to decorate the outside and even place small items on top of these blocks if you want to. There's really no limit to how creative you can get with these items. So there we have it. That was 2 simple examples of how you can use these new floating blocks. But what do you think about this new item? Are you excited to build a tunnel on your island, or do you have other plans for these blocks? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, for now, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you're an Animal Crossing fan, don't forget to subscribe as I will upload a bunch of New Horizons news as and when it happens. Until then, I'd like to give a special thank you to this channel's Patreon supporters as well as this channel's members. You guys absolutely rock and truly help me out me upload as regularly as I do, I couldn't do it without you. Don't forget to head over to our Discord server too, and of course if you made it to the end of the video, please comment floating just to let me know you did. That would be super awesome, and please be sure to include whether or not you're going to be using these blocks around your island. I'd love to know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. Please be sure to leave a like if you did. Thanks for watching, I hope you have an amazing day, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.